My name's Ita Buttrose, and I'm a journalist. I define influence as the capacity to affect change, and by that I mean positive change, directional change, behavioural change, attitudinal change. I think my greatest achievement has been giving Australian women a voice, encouraging them to push themselves forward, to make the most of their lives, while reminding them just how good they are at what they do. When I was the editor of the Australian Women's Weekly, I ran a survey called Voice of the Australian Woman. And in it we asked the readers of the weekly about 200 questions about all sorts of things, about rape, about conservation, about conscription, you name it, we asked them. Now at the time, women were underrepresented in all the upper echelons of decision making in this country. Laws were made about women, with women having no input, and I found that unacceptable. So with the Voice of the Australian Women, which was considered the largest survey ever done in Australia, 30,000 women responded and 10,000 of them wrote letters. And for the first time, we could see what women thought about a great many issues in this country. The first time I can really remember being in a newspaper as a story was 1967, when I won the Sydney Morning Herald and Sun Herald's fashion contest to find the best dressed woman at the races at Randwick. That would have been fine, except at the time I was women's editor of the Daily and Sunday Telegraphs, their rivals. Now I thought the executives at Fairfax were going to have a heart attack. So Frank Packer, the boss of the two Telegraphs, was overjoyed. I think it endeared me to Sir Frank forever. I could do nothing wrong after that. I was at the races with a team of women's reporters, and the way we used to do it was you'd say, there's Mrs. Jones over there from Young, go and get her photograph. So I was directing all the staff to take the various photographs that we wanted. When I became aware of a woman just over there near the bookies trying to attract my attention. Now the irony of this contest that I won was that we used to do it at the Telegraph, but at the last minute, the Millinery Manufacturers Association, who were a sponsor, gave us the flick. And they told us they were going to the Sun Herald and the Sydney Morning Herald, and we weren't very happy about that. So anyway, I went over to see what this woman wanted. And she said she was from the Millinery Manufacturers Association, and would I like to enter the Sydney Morning Herald's fashion contest? Now, I wasn't as well known as I am now, and I thought, well, how nice of them. And I said, I'd love to. And I gave her my married name. You see how useful husbands can be. And lo and behold, I won it. I really can't believe I did it, but I did do it. And the prize was a trip for two to Expo 67 in Montreal, and it was a return trip, but my husband and I turned it into a one-way trip. So we went to Expo, then we went up to New York, and then we went to London, and we lived and worked in London for 3 years, all because of the Sydney Morning Herald and the Sun Herald. I think the most influential Australian is the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, because at the moment he controls the fate of all Australians.